Sean,
Yes, sir.
we're back.
Oh, baby, like a bad smell.
Yeah, it took some time. It's been 2 weeks, but we're back. If you are new to this show, because I know we got a load of subscribers over the last while, don't click off just yet. Just let me explain what the show is, and then we can move on. So this is the podcast that we do on the channel every week. It's quite different than the mini videos, the solo videos and stuff, but we get more into the discussion. We chat about fight cards. We talk to fighters. We're going to talk to Will Fleury later. We talk about all the big news. So it's quite different. So if you're only interested in single videos, that's cool. But still give us a like. Check it out if you can.
And we do have the times down below, so you can
skip to the part you're interested in. But we know it's an investment. But you know, all the other stuff will continue to come. All the solo videos, maybe a live chat. But thanks for subscribing and yeah, like this video. But Sean, plenty to talk about this week. Loads in the news. Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz goes down soon, and I'm just like, I kind of want to talk about the card right now. So I want to talk about it because the card is kind of coming together. It's taking shape. And Kevin Lee is returning to lightweight, which we'll chat about. And yeah, he has a tough test in his hand with Gregor Gillespie. And plenty more news. Daniel Cormier, should he fight for the heavyweight title again?
I love DC so much, man.
I love him too. But yeah, let's talk about that. And also the fight card this weekend.
Yep.
Adesanya, Whittaker. There's a big card this weekend, UFC 243. But after that comes UFC 244, and it's headlined by Masvidal-Diaz, and there's some good fights on the card. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk a little bit about it, because sometimes when you're breaking down a card on the day or on the week, you can't really talk about the card and kind of take a step back and just look at it as a fight card and how good it is. So Gregor Gillespie versus Kevin Lee, and Kevin Lee's return to lightweight has been added to the card. But then there's also some great fights on it as well. So first, your reaction to Kevin Lee versus Gregor Gillespie, because I love that fight.
Yeah,
I love that fight.
Just going to put a shameless pun in. There is a few good fights on the card. But yeah, great fight. I seen it announced and I was surprised to see Kevin Lee returning to lightweight. That was my first surprise.
Yes.
Not overly surprised, but I hadn't really seen it talk to it that he was coming back down. But again, great fight. Love watching Kevin Lee. Generally in entertaining fights. Like added this to what is already a fucking stacked card anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the fight. As I said, I think it's a great fight. But I also think it's a very, very tough fight for Kevin Lee, especially coming back down. Now, it's a big step up for Gregor Gillespie, who I'm hugely high on. I think he's an excellent prospect. And
Kevin Lee probably coming off a couple of losses as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And Kevin Lee, who seemed to really struggle to make lightweight. Yeah. Like, seemed to really, really struggle. Like, he got staph in one of his fights. I think it was because of weight cutting. Which I don't know.
That was the interim fight against Tony, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I don't know how that works, but he had staph anyway. But he seems to really struggle to make lightweight. But his move up to welterweight wasn't that successful. Didn't look great, so he's probably having second thoughts. But I don't think that's really a good sign for Kevin Lee that he goes up for one. Right,
the fluctuation is not good.
No. So he goes up for one, loses to Dos Anjos, who was like on the smaller end of
tough fight as well.
An incredibly tough fight, but he's on the smaller end of welterweight. Then comes back down and now fighting a guy who's on a hot streak, a guy who can do it all. Like he's a really good striker for being a wrestler, and his wrestling is insane, and he does not slow down. And sometimes that's where Kevin Lee has problems.
Just talking about Kevin Lee and RDA, they're two guys who 165ers.
Yes.
165ers.
Yeah, 165ers. Big time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. BMF maybe. So the card, as I said, headlined by Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz. I don't want to get too much into that, but like, just right now, is this your most anticipated fight of the year?
Yeah.
Sitting here right now?
This is one that's got my mates talking about MMA.
Yes.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Normally it's only Conor, Khabib, generally it. Maybe if John Jones does something stupid, they'll be like, okay, John's done something stupid. This is the one that like my mates actually want to watch. And I don't care what people say about the BMF belt and The Rock presenting it, I'm all for it. If we're putting a belt on the line called the BMF belt, why not fucking have The Rock present it? He is the BMF.
Yeah.
All for it.
Yeah, it's I'm all for it too. It's I don't want to talk too much about it because we're going to get into it soon, but like I do feel that there's a lot of anticipation about this one. Like I put out those videos, so the McGregor one and the Nate Diaz one, and the Nate Diaz one has done so much better than the Conor McGregor one. I'm not sure if that's like just kind of people who saw that one and now moving on to this one or what it is, but it just seems like Nate Diaz right now is a huge star.
Yeah.
And Jorge Masvidal, again, similar to Nate Diaz, it's actually quite different the way he became a star. Like Nate Diaz, in my opinion, seemed like he was always going to be a star at some point if the right things happened.
He just needed stuff.
He needed stuff to happen. Whereas Jorge Masvidal, it's kind of like, Jesus, where did that come from?
Bit of an Indian summer.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like it just came out of the blue.
The press conference was a bit disappointing. To be honest, there was no need for it.
I agree, yeah.
They're not two guys who are going to... It's not a Conor press conference where he's going to stand up and he's going to throw something at him.
Yeah.
They're two guys who have a lot of respect for each other. I mean, when Nate called Jorge out, there was a lot of respect in the call out. He said as much. The only thing he really talked shit about him was he said he ain't no West Coast gangster.
Yeah. Which, is that an insult?
Yeah, not really, like.
It's just geography.
Yeah. So there was always going to be... It was never going to be an overly entertaining press conference.
Yeah.
I mean, the best bit of it was Jorge's suit. Which is
amazing.
Scarface, love it.
And they're two guys who, like, I always found it weird when people called Nate Diaz a trash talker, because I don't think I've ever seen him talk trash. Like, I mean, he says his opinion sometimes, and maybe you can relate that to trash talking, but I think it's very different. And Jorge Masvidal is very much against trash talking, so the press conference was never going to be that thing. I think the best thing to come from it, apart from Jorge Masvidal's suit, because that was phenomenal, was like the stare down. Like, it wasn't a great stare down, but it was just like seeing those two guys up there and knowing these are going to headline this fucking event. It's going to be awesome.
The best way to build this fight is with some sick promo videos.
Yes, you're right. Yeah,
get me like a Robust Logic poster, or get me something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Can't wait. Kelvin Gastelum, Darren Till is also on the card.
Ooh, what a fucking... Like, if you're talking BMFs, Darren Till, he's
up there.
He talked the talk to get himself where he is, and he at least tried to walk the walk.
Yeah.
I know he might have taken 2 L's in his last 2 fights, but fuck me, he's at least trying to walk the walk, which is a lot more than some people who talk it do.
Yeah.
And to step up to 185 and fight Kelvin, first fight, who narrowly lost to Israel in his last fight.
Yeah.
Fair play, man.
Yeah, and... like, if we think, I don't know what you think, but like, I think it's a really tough matchup for him, just because of the wrestling and of course the striking. First time there, it's a BMF thing to do, going up there and taking that fight.
Big time.
Phenomenal fight. We'll see what happens there. But then you have Corey Anderson, Johnny Walker. So Johnny Walker on the card. That's another guy who people are really excited about. You have Stephen Thompson, Vicente Luque.
Yeah. Gee.
Oh my God. Jesus, I can't do this. Derek Lewis against Ivanov. That's grand. Kevin Lee.
Good to see Derek Lewis back.
It's good as hot balls. Shane Burgos, Makwan Americani.
Yeah.
That's a fun fight.
Yeah.
That's a really fun fight.
The prelims of this are going to be banging.
Yeah. Can't wait. They would do against Julia Darcy. Ooh. I like it.
It's a real MMA fans card.
I agree.
It is.
Yeah, I agree. It's like every MMA fan is going to tune in, and I think they're going to get the casuals in because of what you said. Like, people are talking about it, you know. It's really good. I cannot wait for that card. Now, let's move on. Faraz Zahabi was talking about George St. Pierre. Surprisingly, it's kind of come out of nowhere.
Faraz kind of pops up now and again with some statements.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's some man.
Yeah.
SUM, some man. So he was talking about George St. Pierre and Khabib Nurmagomedov, and said that at 155 the fight won't happen now. It's gonna be too far. Jorge on the mind. George St. Pierre won't be moving down to 155. But George St. Pierre is retired, and Faraz says that he still thinks he will stay retired, but he's not closing the book on it all the way. But he also said that a match with Khabib, I guess not at 155, or Conor not at 155, would probably entice George to come back. So is this still a fight that you would like to see?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. The 155 thing is interesting because, as you can see in the title there, George is looking lean. Yeah.
Oh, George, you done the same thing as me.
What?
Oh, sorry, yeah. I thought you meant Jorge.
No, George is looking...
George, yeah.
GSP is looking lean.
He's looking very
right
lean.
Now.
Yeah. We put that up on the page, and he has Crohn's disease, I know that, apparently. Okay. So that could be affecting this thing. But he does look extremely lean. Like way leaner than I've ever seen him. Like, is he doing... Like, it's possible he's doing a testicle. Like, it is quite possible. Like, you never know.
Yeah. It's not like he ever ballooned while he was out of retirement.
Apart from going to 185, he kind of beefed up a little bit, and he kind of done that the wrong way. But I know he was talking to Joe Rogan on his podcast before as well, and he was talking about how he is now fasting and stuff. He's doing a lot more fasting, so that could also be contributing towards it. But I'd be quite interested in the fight. I think it's
I'm
just
interested in that 170 even. So like
same. Yeah, I just think it's very intriguing because George has never been dominated in the wrestling exchanges, and like you fancy Khabib to dominate everybody in wrestling. So I'm just very intrigued on what would happen there.
The Conor one a little bit less so interested in, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think Conor gets anyone near him.
No, I think it's
totally honest.
It's a bad matchup.
The Khabib one is so intriguing, so intriguing for loads of different reasons.
Yeah, I like it. I really like it.
And if Khabib gets one more win, I mean, it's probably the fight to make. If Khabib fights Tony next, goes 29.
When Khabib fights Tony, let's be confident.
Are we going to jinx it?
Let's be confident about it.
Okay, when Khabib fights Tony next, and if he wins, is that 29-0? It's 29-0, I think.
Yeah, I'll check that now.
I think.
I'll confirm.
Then he fight, in my opinion, after that, the only fight to make is GSP. And then he's 30-0, and then Khabib sails off into the sunset, retired, 30-0, never comes back. My man. It's the best way to do it.
That'd be phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so Khabib would be, if this page loads, 29-0. Yeah, it's kind of like the Floyd Mayweather thing at this point, isn't it? People are like, oh, is he going to get to this? Is he going to get to this?
Yeah.
It really is. It feels that way. But yeah, if Khabib done that and he fought George St. Pierre and beat George St. Pierre and went 30-0, that would be unreal.
And if he goes on that run of his last fight, if he goes Conor, Dustin, Tony, GSP, we're in GOAT status.
Yeah. To be fair, like
even Al before that.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are down on Conor at the moment, but like
at the time, and if you're going to look at, say, this generation's like premier lightweights or best lightweights, it's like Dustin Poirier, Conor, Tony, Khabib himself. Yeah, for a year and a half, Conor was the best fighter on the planet. Whether you like him or hate him, there was a year and a half, 18 months where he was the best fighter on the planet. He went Jose and Eddie back to back. No, there was that. Yeah, he went Jose and Eddie. I'm right.
No, there was Nate.
Was the Nate ones in between?
Yeah, Nate was in there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but what he done to Jose and Eddie?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Especially with Jose, because like Jose was like basically never lost, like, you know, in his career.
And then even the rematch with Nate.
Yeah.
At 170 to say, okay, I'll take it at 170.
Yeah. Yeah, he was phenomenal at one point. But it's great to like for Khabib, that's a great name on your record, obviously, and to go on a run, potentially at the end of your career, which is still mad to say because like Khabib is still the best, you know. It's mad to say that maybe he has one or two more fights left in him. Not even in him, but one more two fights left. It's probably the right way to say it.
The romantic in me wants to see him go out at 30-0, beat GSP, and says, fuck it, I'm never coming back. Yeah. And he never comes back. Don't want to see him. I don't think he is the type of guy who would get that itch, but you never know. I hope he goes 30-0, never coming back.
Yeah, you'd wonder with these guys, because if he can do that and he never gets the itch, it's a very rare thing to see in fighting, isn't it? It's a very impressive thing.
I said it to you, I think it was last week. Nigel Benn, 55 years old. That man was a multiple-time world champion. Achieved everything he possibly could in boxing. Yeah. And he said he needs closure. I mean, it's not nice to see. Closure? It's not nice to see, like, 55 years old.
Closure is check, I think. It's a check. That's what I think it is. Yeah, it's not cool to see. I hate when fighters hold on for too long, but unfortunately it is a feature of this sport and boxing. Combat sports, pretty much. Speaking of fighters holding on, but again, this is a guy who's still competitive. Daniel Cormier confirmed on Twitter that his next fight will be his last, and there's also rumours that they're going to do Stipe Cormier 3. Question number 1, is it the right decision for Cormier to go once more and then call it a day? Do you feel like that would be the right thing for him to do at this point?
I don't think it's the wrong thing.
Mr. Politician over there.
DC, I love, man. I love listening to DC. And if anyone hasn't listened to his interview with Ariel there recently, was it last week I said it to you?
Yes.
Yeah, go watch it. Powerful interview. Did you watch it?
I did watch it.
Powerful interview.
Powerful.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't like seeing guys go on too long. And DC's a guy we've been listening to for a long time saying he's going to retire.
Yeah, at 40.
Yeah, and I've said for a long time the Jones fight will always get him out.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't think Jones is going to.
I think the Jones fight has lost a lot of its
mojo.
Yeah. Like I don't think it'd feel as big as magic as it would have felt if he stayed champion.
Yeah. I said to you after the rematch at Stipe, I texted you pretty much straight after the fight, I was like, the third fight makes the most sense ever.
I agree.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah, especially as well when you look at how the second fight came about. Stipe waited around as well, so it's not like you can go and say, well, Stipe worked his way back up to get a shot. You know, they done the immediate rematch, so, well, for him, not for Cormier. Cormier actually went out and fought.
Yeah.
And that's not a slight at Stipe,
No,
it kind of sounded like that, but you know what I mean? I think it's the perfect fight to make. And to be honest, I was actually talking about this today. If they never made the Jones fight again, fine. I'm cool with that. If they never made the Stipe fight again, I'd feel like we haven't got closure.
Yeah.
Speaking of closure.
Because DC pieced him up for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
He fucked him up for 3 rounds and then got caught.
Yeah.
Like he said himself in that interview at Ariel, he didn't listen to his coaches.
Yeah, and that was clear.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's some MMA analysts that talked about it and didn't give DC a lot of credit for that second fight, and they think Stipe was the better, like he was obviously the better guy on the night because he won the fight.
Yeah.
But like, I do think you have to look at those 3.5 rounds that they fought and look at how well Cormier done, even when he threw the game plan out the window. And I'm not saying he's going to win the rematch.
He let his ego take over.
He did. And I think the fact that he won that fight so easily in the first time out, I think he almost underestimated Stipe and his power because he was just walking through them shots, and you can't do it at a heavyweight. You just can't. And Stipe is excellent. Like he's one of the best heavyweights around and of all time, at least credential wise. So yeah, I think they have to make that fight. I really do.
What was your second question?
Second question was, should that fight happen?
Okay. Yeah. No. I don't have 1 and 2. I don't have a problem with DC going again. And I believe him when he says this will be his last fight.
When you say you don't have a problem with him going again, does that mean you're leaning on towards he should probably hang it up, or are you leaning on like he should just stick around for longer?
No, if he hung him up, I'd be like, fair enough.
Okay, so you're kind of on that side. You're on the side of like hang them up or go once more, not continue on.
I think this is the only fight worth going once more for. Yeah. Because it makes so much sense. He makes a bag of money for it. I actually seen an article of saying that the DC Stipe trilogy has come out of nowhere as the most compelling trilogy in MMA.
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah.
It makes so much sense. Like
it does. It's very good. And Luke Thomas actually said this.
It might have been Luke that said it.
Was it? Luke Thomas said this. He said it's very rare that a fighter will have their last fight and it's potentially their most important fight of their career. That's very rare that your last fight is potentially your most important fight, because if he wins that fight and goes out as heavyweight champion, that is huge. If he loses it, not that I think he can take anything away from the career that he had, because DC has had an incredible career, like a Hall of Fame, like a real Hall of Fame career. But I do think that you can make the argument that this fight, because it's the trilogy, with a guy who a lot of people were labelling as the best heavyweight of all time, heavyweight title going out, it's potentially his biggest fight, his most important fight, which is weird.
I think for both guys.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
What do you do with Stipe next? Like, I don't really have an outrageous interest in seeing the Francis rematch.
I think the only real interest is if John Jones goes up. And I hate having that conversation of let's mess around with the divisions again. But I do think that the only real thing that I'd be like, oh, this is unbelievable, is if John Jones made that jump up and loses a lot of the advantages that he has against guys down at light heavyweight. I
think the trilogy, the winner cements themselves as probably the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yeah, I think so. But then you have Fedor there. Can't get off that Fedor train.
Yeah.
Best UFC heavyweight of all time. We'll add that little caveat there. Yeah. Yes. So Dan Mergliata is in the news because him and Michael Page had a bit of a back and forth. Now, I wasn't at this card, but you were.
I was.
Michael Venom Page fought Richard Kiley, and it was an easy night for Michael Page in the end. And there was a little bit of back and forth in the cage between Kiley and Page, and at one point Michael Page was landing some ground and pound, like done like a selfie type thing, wasn't it? And Dan Mergliata called him like a piece of shit or something, and basically cursed him out, which is fair enough. And then also he said that he was basically wrong for doing that, and he won't referee his fights ever again. But what do you think of the whole situation?
It's weird because I suppose it kind of started within the fight when Mergliata deducted a point from MVP for unsportsmanlike conduct, showboat and all that. You don't often see that done for unsportsmanlike conduct. No. I mean, you see guys sort of showboating in the cage quite a lot. Yeah,
it is in the rules, but it never gets enforced.
Yeah, of course it is. And the thing there is consistency again. Yeah. So like, if it's not getting pulled up all the time, you're kind of like, well, why am I getting pulled up for it now? Whatever. You got pulled up for it. It's in the rules. Deal with it. I think I listened to Dan's what Dan said on it, and he was he was saying Kylie tried after the fight to shake MVP's hand,
Mm.
and against the commissioner, against Dan's advice and against the commissioner's advice, they said, nah, leave it. There was a bit of animosity.
Yeah.
Don't start it after the fight.
Yeah.
Dan insisted on, or Kylie, insisted on shaking his hand. MVP wouldn't shake his hand, I believe. And then Mugliata essentially, according to Mugliata, he turned away after he wouldn't shake his hand and called MVP a piece of shit. MVP wasn't too happy. He's obviously adrenaline to bits after a fight. Yeah, and that's kind of where it started.
All right.
So,
Interesting.
I mean, Mugliata shouldn't have said it. MVP probably should have shook his hand.
Yeah, like
whatever.
Like at the end of the day, I do think Mugliata was wrong in doing what he done. Like, I mean, warn him, do all that, but like, call him a piece of shit. You're a
referee.
You're a referee. You're in a profession basically. Like,
your opinion is irrelevant in that case.
Exactly. Yeah, like you can think that, but like just apply the rules like you should apply the rules. I think that's the way you should do it. I think it makes sense now that he's not going to referee any of his fights for both people's sake. I don't think you should be putting Mugliata in there when he's clearly doesn't like
and MVP shouldn't have to worry about the referee like that in a cage. So yeah,
apologies for all the sniffing. I have a cold, and I went to the pharmacist and he gave me like allergy medicine even though I have a cold. Fucking ridiculous. Idiots. So that's all the kind of news that we have.
You forgot on the list, Rob. I was wondering if you'd remember it. Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington was announced for 245 December. 3 title fights on the card.
3 title fights on the card?
Believe so.
Nunes
and Max and Volkanovski.
UFC 240. 5.
I believe Max and Volkanovski was announced as well.
I fucking missed that. Look at that. It's been weeks and I
carrying the show. I am.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Banging card.
Yeah, I'm glad they finally made this fight because it looked like some stuff was going to go down and Usman and Colby wasn't going to happen.
It looked like both guys were kind of playing fucking shithouse.
Bit of hardball.
Yeah.
But to be fair, right, with Colby Covington, it looked like what was happening was they were trying to lowball him. They're trying to get him to take a fight for a lot less money than he probably should have been on. Mm-hmm. And like Colby, at the end of the day, I think we talked about this before, but he was like close to being cut by the UFC.
Yeah.
And I think that a loss for Colby Covington right now would be detrimental to his future because of how cocky he is. It's very different than some other really cocky fighters because I don't think he'd be able to handle it quite like they did. Like McGregor, really, really cocky. But the way he handled the loss, it almost made him bigger.
Yeah, agreed.
Colby's not going to be able to handle it like that. He's going to go back to the well, going to be that guy. So I think he's right to say, listen, if this is going to be my title fight, there's a chance I'll lose, but I need to make money on this. You know, I need to make money. He's
a guy who really needs to back up his talk and his persona because he's in trouble. It is a persona. It's not Colby. It's not him. He's changed. I totally understand why, but because of that, he really needs to back up his talk. He really does, yeah. Like, I don't think... Like, imagine if he turned face, you know, the wrestling term. Like, if he changed his persona, I'm not quite sure that would work. No. I think people are already, you know, accepting that he's that guy. So apologies for missing that one, but that is all that we have on the actual news. Is there anything else that you saw that you want to have a chat about? There was some fights on the weekend. Any call-outs? I was at Bellator. Yeah. Good atmosphere, yeah. I think it was poorly organised by Bellator, to be totally honest. I mean, there was too many fights on the card. That's European MMA at its best. The crowd was a little restless come the end because it was going on so long and you're waiting for Gallagher. And people were expecting MVP and Kylie has come in and they put a float in between. There was a women's fight in between. Not the event against the fight itself. It's just when it was put on, people were ready for Gallagher. And this fight comes on. Like, it was nearly midnight by the time the card was over. The curfew's got to be 11 o'clock, isn't it? Curfew is 11 o'clock. Yeah. So it ran till at least 11:30. Yeah. Because I was texting you and you were still there. So the card went on too long. I mean, the atmosphere was very good. It's just the card went on too long. People are drinking, they get restless, that kind of stuff. What time did it start at? First fight was 4:45. It's a long time. That is a long time. Like. I mean, we got there at around 6ish. Yeah. So even we were in the arena almost 6 hours. Yeah. 5.5 hours. Like, think of that in bare money time as well. Yeah. Like, you know, bare money. Yeah. Money. Like, that's a lot. Think of that in point terms. Yeah. Point terms. Like, you know, that's a lot of points. There's a lot of money for a place like that. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, the fights, was there anything that stood out to you on the card? Majorly, I guess. Peter Coyley. Yeah, that was big good. Comeback victory. That was good. Put down in the first with a massive head kick. Looked like he was potentially going to get put out of there. And then he comes back and gets a stoppage. Fantastic.
Yeah, phenomenal.
McGregor, of course, was in attendance in an all-white suit.
Yeah, see when Gallagher won,
Yeah.
and he.
I thought McGregor was going to jump the
It
cage.
looked like he was going to jump the cage. The
Mm.
security was all over, absolutely all over. Yeah, of course, our man Will Fleury unfortunately lost in the card. We'll chat with him a little bit later, hopefully. And yeah, he's gracefully said that he'll come on and chat about the fight, which is fucking what a man.
Big respect.
Yeah, raw bastard. There was also the other Bellator card, which had the Grand Prix on it, which is cool.
Which got next to no promotion in Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, I barely knew the fucking thing was on.
I know, yeah, it was ridiculous, wasn't it? And then you had the UFC Denmark card. Again, these were all a while ago. Nobody wants to talk about these anymore.
Big up Nicholas Dalby, though.
Big up Nicholas Dalby. Yeah, great return. And see Darren Till and him kind of exchanging.
Yeah, that was cool.
They fought in Dublin, actually,
cool,
a few years ago, which is cool. Last one for the news. TJ Dillashaw wants an immediate title shot upon his UFC return. He's still champion of the world.
No, go away, TJ. You got caught doing testosterone. You fucking drug.
It was only EPO.
Oh, sorry, EPO.
Yeah, it was only EPO.
Go away, TJ. No one cares anymore.
It was only the stuff you can only inject.
Yeah.
So, like...
You're sticking needles in your ass.
Yeah.
Go away.
So like Michael Bisping.
I actually didn't
sticking
see
needles
that.
in his ass.
Yeah, I didn't actually see that he said that.
Yeah.
Go away, TJ.
It's right. He said it's rightfully his. He's still champion. Do I agree?
He's going on that Lance Armstrong logic where everyone's doing it.
Yeah,
I just got caught, so I'm still the champion.
To be fair, he's probably right though. But like, you know.
Prove it.
Yeah. Prove it.
Prove it, yeah.
Yeah.
No, go away, TJ.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Also,
on.
sorry, I said that was the last one, but we'll talk a little bit about this person soon. But Israel Adesanya, apologies, said that he's still interested in fighting John Jones.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that fight.
I'm intrigued, but like, there's got to be a huge size difference there. Like, John Jones is bordering heavyweight, and you know, Israel probably isn't even bordering like heavyweight at this point. He's just like, he's not huge. Yeah,
like he obviously hits very hard at 185.
Yeah,
because he dropped most of his guys.
Yeah,
dropped Kelvin multiple times, who's a proper 185er. Yeah, you're not looking at Israel as a massive 185er, but maybe he could go up to light heavy and have the sort of effect on the speed and the movement advantage. I don't know, but yeah, I am interested in that fight.
Sweet. So that's it. It was fun. Good to talk about the news.
Yeah.
Let us know your opinions down in the comments below of anything we talked about today. But let's move on, and we're going to go into Sean's weird news.
First up this week, Rob, we are about to speak about it.
Yeah.
Big card this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Till actually posted this on his Instagram. For those of you who know South Park, you'll know this meme regularly. It regularly pops up on social media. But yeah.
G is everywhere. If nobody can see it, it's the classic Stan's Da. I think I can't remember his name. I used to be a big South Park fan, and it's the G is everywhere thing. And then, do you ever see that episode? And he's like, "Oh, it's ectoplasm." Yeah. That's brilliant, and it's very true.
The caption then is, "When you remember Whittaker versus Adesanya is less than a week away."
Oh, very, very true. I always love when someone like a fighter posts something, and then you have all the other fighters comment under. Like there's like Frank Mir, Usman, Tatiana Suarez, all with the same kind of thing.
Class.
Great stuff.
Darren Till's Instagram as well, what to follow, so get on that one.
Yeah.
Post some funny stuff.
Yeah.
That was the same one, never mind.
Holy shit.
Cowboy Cerrone. He'll tell you himself, he raises bad motherfuckers down at that gym.
Yeah.
But they build, what's really cool about it is they build everything at the gym.
Yeah.
So everything at his ranch is built by his own hands.
Wow.
Which is really cool. So he's currently building chairs, and this is what he's built.
It's like a skull.
Yeah.
It's a throne of sorts.
Yeah, he's built this himself.
Yeah. I love the way he didn't skimp out and he has the cup holders in it.
Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah.
That's fucking phenomenal. That is a bad motherfucking chair.
Yeah, it's class.
Yeah, it's deadly. If you're only listening on the audio version of this, go check us out on YouTube because you need to see this.
Yeah, and it's on Cowboy's Instagram.
No, you need to go onto our show. It's only way it's exclusive.
And the only way you can see it is click and subscribe. So click subscribe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, I'd loved a video tour of Cowboy's Ranch because it looks
I say it's amazing,
sick.
Yeah.
It looks sick. Next up.
It's a ranch, it's great, isn't
Miles Price, friend of the show. We've had him on before. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he posted this one day. Don't tell me I need to charge my phone, by the way. So he posted this saying that he was retiring into the male escort scene, DM for availability.
Great stuff.
I'd imagine this was a frappe.
I'd imagine so. Very funny, yeah. It's I'm sure it's a decent career path, you know.
Bit of money, probably more money than fighting.
It probably is more money than fighting.
Easier money than fighting anyway, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, this one.
Oh, God, I remember that picture.
Yeah.
But that is so true.
It looks
Holy
like she's a chicken
fuck.
drumstick up her nose.
Oh, Jesus. That's grim.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's grim.
That's a broken orbital bone.
Oh, yes, it definitely is. It's that's a lot of damage to your face. I wouldn't enjoy that.
Fucked up faces that is.
Yeah. I wonder if she won.
I fucking hope so. Next,
No,
Mark Ramondi. What did he tweet?
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is a little cool story. So
Alright.
obviously Jorge's been doing a lot of media lately, and to be fair to him, can't set a foot wrong at the minute.
No.
Everything he does touches the gold. He was on Ariel's show, and he was this quote kind of hit me a little bit. He said when he was talking with Nate Diaz, he said, "I see another Latin kid. That man, this was his way out, the way to generate money, to generate income, and not do nothing crazy. You can see that trauma when he fights, that he's willing to push through the pain and fatigue like a dog."
Holy
Basically
moly.
talking about that. He's got that dog in him,
Yeah.
that want, that need,
Yeah.
hunger.
This
Yeah.
is
Really cool quote, I think.
yeah, so it's essentially this is it. This is like a way of life for Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
This is like
This is the
a
BMF.
means to an end, and I'll go into that in the YouTube video we done recently. Go check it out. Link at the end of the show. But yeah, that's very true. And it's really cool. Like, I love the build up to this because it's so respectful, but it's two guys who you know are gonna absolutely
business,
throw down. Like, they're not going in there to spar.
No.
They're going in there to fight, but they're
This ain't-
respectful.
This ain't business like.
Not business.
And it's not that they hate each other. It's respect. It's the way of life. This quote, I actually love this quote a lot.
Yeah.
It's one of those you see it and you're like,
Especially that, like, you can see the trauma
Yeah.
when he fights and he's willing
That
to
last
push through
bit.
the pain.
he's got that
and
dog in him.
fatigue like a dog. Jesus. Jorge Masvidal. Go write
I
a
love that
book.
quote a lot.
Yeah.
I love it a lot. Yeah, it's not one that's gonna make you laugh, but it's one that's gonna be like, this is why you respect what
Yeah,
these
it's
guys do.
no 3-piece and a soda,
Yeah.
but it's deep.
This is why I sit here and talk about fights, and this is why I'm not one of them.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I don't have that dog in me.
And you don't want to look like you're one.
Yeah. Don't
Like,
want to have a chicken drumstick up my
yeah.
nose.
Fuck, man.
Yeah. So that's all in the
That was
weird
the
news
weird
this
news?
week. Yeah.
It's quite
Good
weird.
to be back.
Like, yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff there.
Yeah.
It fits.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a fight card on this weekend. Have you seen it? Do you know it's on?
I know there's a fight card on this week,
Yeah.
Rob.
Israel Adesanya is fighting Robert Whittaker.
Damn good.
Should check it out. Let's talk about it. UFC 243 goes down this weekend. It's Whittaker versus Adesanya. It goes down in Australia, in the Marvel Stadium. I think this is a stadium that was just built.
Yeah.
I guess not especially for this, but in time for this, we're gonna say. As I said, the main event is Robert Whittaker against Israel Adesanya, the biggest fight, I guess, in Oceania, or however you say that word, history. Oceanic. Anzac. There we go. And the biggest fight, I guess, in MMA history in Australia itself.
Biggest live gate, am I right?
Yeah, they're gonna break the attendance record, I think.
Yeah.
Which was like 50 odd.
60,000, I think, at this
It's
time,
gonna
right?
be. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
No, it's something like that because
Yeah.
I think the record was like 55.
and that
or
was
something.
the
Rousey.
that was Rosie and Home, am I right?
Yeah,
Australia?
which broke the
Yeah.
GSP Jake Shields one,
Yeah.
as far as I remember. Anyway, let's talk about the main event. Robert Whittaker. I guess this is a unification bout, right? And technically,
Yeah.
but Robert Whittaker is the champion, and Israel Adesanya is the challenger as the interim champ.
There is a disputed title there.
Yeah, disputed title. Thoughts?
I'm so excited for this fight.
Me too.
And generally during the week we don't really talk that much about the fight.
No.
We've spoken a lot about this on
Yeah, I
outside
know, yeah.
because I actually couldn't stop myself from talking
I know.
about it. It's a brilliant fight.
It's awesome.
Even right now in my head I'm trying to think who am I going to pick. I don't know. I don't know.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there
in a
and
couple
I'll
of
make a
minutes.
call and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's genuinely one of the most 50-50 fights I've come across.
Yeah. What I like about both guys is what we learned from both guys in recent fights is that we know that they're tremendously skilled, they're phenomenal, they're great fighters, but also we know that they both have heart.
Yeah.
So if this fight gets into a dogfight,
Baby.
yeah, dogfight like the fight we're going to talk about later in Educating Young Sean,
Yeah.
we know that both guys can handle that.
Yeah.
Now, they both went through incredibly tough fights, so that's going to take a few years off your life, a few fucking fights off your career.
That's some brain trauma.
That's definitely some brain trauma. So let's see how they recover from that. But they weren't knocked out or anything like that,
No.
so it's good. But that's what I love about this. We have guys, especially with Israel, because before the last one, we didn't really know, at least in MMA, how he would deal with somebody who was really aggressive, drops him, and is looking for the finish. Now we do.
Yeah.
He can handle it.
Yeah, both guys have been through some wars.
Yeah.
So the argument that his last fight was tough, same for both guys.
Yeah.
Bobby's been through 2 wars with Yoel
Bobby
Romero.
Nux.
Yeah, We've been through 2 wars with
10 rounds with
Yoel
Romero.
Romero, and the man's still alive.
Yeah.
Fair play to him. And then Izzy went through and like fight of the year arguably with Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah. And as well, kind of talking about that Israel fight and his heart.
The
and
5th round.
The 5th round. We have to talk about the 5th round because there's something like you have to be a certain type of guy to be able to do that in the 5th round. Yeah. And like it was his best round, his most damaging round. He almost finished the fight, and that was after 4 rounds of a decent, a pretty damn good pace.
Sort of only see out of one eye.
Yeah, exactly. And being dropped a couple of times, and he was that even going into that round?
I personally had it. Yeah, I was just going to say I personally had a 2-2 going into that round, and he arguably put on the best round of his UFC career in that.
I think definitely
2-2 of a title fight.
I think definitely
in his toughest fight.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
And against up Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, against Gastelum, who has knocked out a lot of people. He has really, really, his punches are extremely heavy. So phenomenal. Robert Whittaker, 10 rounds.
And the chilling bit, sorry, just about that 5th round was I was listening to an interview with Israel during the week, and he said he always enjoys his fights. So the Brunson, the Adesanya, or the Brunson and the Anderson Silva fight, he enjoyed them. He was having fun, and he said he had some stuff going on in his personal life during the camp for Kelvin. Didn't really enjoy it, but he always felt he had to go to that place and see what he had. He felt he had to go to the trenches. So if he didn't even enjoy that fight, we saw that. Woo.
Israel, you are a dark, dark man.
Yeah. Sick.
Phenomenal. But, question. Is this the best striker that Israel has fought? At least in prime, because you have Anderson Silva there, who was like an all-time great striker. But if you go through his career in the UFC so far, and even his MMA career, he hasn't really fought somebody, I think, with the dynamism that Robert Whittaker has, apart from Anderson, as I said. But this is a different Anderson. That's not the type. That's not the guy we used to know. Yeah, it's like the song. So do you think that, striking-wise, apart from his kickboxing, apart from Anderson, not in his prime, is this the toughest striking matchup that he's had?
Yeah, probably. I think the same applies to Whittaker though. Yeah, I think a lot of the questions that apply.
That's what made this fight interesting.
I think a lot of the questions over this fight apply to both guys. I mean, it's the best wrestler Israel's fought, but it's probably the best striker that Whittaker's fought. Yeah.
You could argue that Gastelum was the best wrestler, but he doesn't pursue takedowns that much. Well, either does Whittaker, but like if I think again Luke Thomas said this, like if Whittaker's gonna go to his wrestling, this is the time. Yeah. Go to your wrestling against Adesanya.
Yeah. And let's be right about it. Whittaker is probably the most underrated champion ever.
Probably,
in the UFC.
Underrated, yeah.
Having come from 170, been knocked out at 170. Yeah. Struggled to make the weight.
I think you're probably right.
And then goes in the run that he's gone on at 185 and looks like an absolute monster.
Yeah. One thing I got, because I rewatched those 2 fights, I wanted to watch them, not even just to prepare for this, but also because they were so good. And one thing I did notice was in the Gastelum fight, when Gastelum moved a lot, didn't stay stationary in front of Adesanya, and also when he feinted a lot, he was giving Adesanya a lot of problems. And I don't think that's necessarily because Adesanya can't deal with feints, because he's one of the best guys who feints in the UFC, and like it's like that's his thing. That's his coach's thing. I'm pretty sure his coach came out and said like feints is what's missing in MMA strike and something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, we spoke about that his last fight.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily believe that he can't deal with guys who feints, but feinting is just a naturally good thing to do in fights. Yeah. So when guys do that, it makes them more competitive. And I thought when Kelvin,
like playing poker in a fight.
Exactly, yeah. When Kelvin was doing that, I thought he had a lot of success. That's when he dropped him. And then when he stayed stationary in front of him, Adesanya made him pay. Robert Whittaker feints a lot. He's kind of similar in that way. So I'm very, very intrigued in the stand-up how that goes, especially when Adesanya's going to have in his head that the takedown is there. Like, it's not always going to be successful, but he's going to go to it.
Yeah, I think the first round is going to be very fainty, touchy-feely.
Yeah.
A lot of
feeling.
But I think we're going to see a war. I don't see it being overly technical.
Later on.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a war at some point in this fight.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, man, I don't know where to go with this one. I'm tempted to get some help from odds and get some help from Tapology, but I have a feeling it's probably not going to give me a lot of help, because I think it's going to be pretty even. Let's go with the odds first. What do you have?
So the website I'm looking at right now, odds, has Robert Whittaker 4-5 and Izzy 10-11, so slight favourite for Bobby Knuckles. Yeah. But if you shop around, you can get evens on both guys. best odds.
Yeah.
We spoke about this earlier in the week. I mean, I think Israel Adesanya has that little bit of X factor. He has that little bit of
special.
Little bit of special in him. He's a little bit eccentric. He's a little bit different. He's a little bit odd. A little bit weird. I think he has that something special in him. And I agree that Bobby Knuckles is the most underrated champion that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I want to pick Adesanya.
Yeah. Bobby has fought 2 times since July of 2017.
Yeah. He's not been active.
Twice, and two tough fights with Yoel Romero. He's had a lot of injuries. You know, how's that going to affect him? You know, a lot of trauma in that last fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just think he's an extremely tough fighter to beat. He's so well-rounded. I think he's going to go to his wrestling. I think he can compete in the striking at least early.
Mm-hmm.
If you stop in front of Adesanya and you overextend on punches,
he'll piece you up.
Bobby doesn't really overextend on punches that much unless it's when he's hurt. But
Yeah.
even then, like
Unless
if
Israel can drag him into doing
exactly, like when you look at what I was really impressed with, when you look at when Bobby was hurt in that last fight, like defensively he was excellent.
Mhm.
You know, he got himself out of a really bad situation, and he looked
that.
great.
I thought
I'm
Israel did
torn
the
on this.
same though when he was hurt
I
against
agree.
Kelvin.
So I was picking Israel Adesanya.
Pick someone, Rob.
I was picking Israel Adesanya initially. I'm switching it. I'm going with Whittaker.
Okay.
61% actually on Whittaker.
Really?
39% Adesanya. Yeah.
I have a little theory on that book one.
Okay, continue. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Whittaker. I am not confident in
Yeah.
it. Don't back it.
I've picked Adesanya, but I might back Whittaker on the night. So
Yeah,
please
yeah.
don't judge me.
Yeah,
Or don't
yeah.
give out to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, my little theory on that is because of how there's a lot of talking about how underrated Whittaker is, and I think that's kind of influencing people's opinions a little
I
bit.
get you. Like they're not overextending, but yeah, overvaluing
They're
that.
overcompensating for the fact that how underrated he is.
Yeah.
And like I don't blame people for that.
I've just made a pick and I'm
I've picked
regretting it
Adesanya
already.
now. I mean, I might come in tomorrow morning to you and say
Yeah.
I'll pick a Whittaker.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Man.
right now I think Adesanya has that little bit of special in him.
I completely agree with that. I
Yeah.
think Adesanya is an absolutely special fighter, and I would not be surprised if he showed us that on Saturday night.
And the Nigerians, man, they're on a tail.
They're on a tear. Aloy Quinta and Dan Hooker fight in the co-main event. This is a fun fight.
Yeah, cracker of a fight.
Yeah.
This is one of them lightweights bopping at the minute. It is hopping.
It's bopping.
Yeah.
It's hopping.
Dan
Awesome.
Hooker, this could be a real coming out party for him. Hometown boy.
Yeah.
I know he's New Zealand and it's in Australia, but basically a hometown crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, Al's always tough. Looked damn good against Kevin Lee. Obviously got the ass to Cowboy. So this is a bit of a crossroads fight now
Yeah.
at the minute against Dan Hooker.
He's like both guys. If you look at their recent resumes now, Aloy Quinta hasn't been that active. I mean, like before,
he
has plenty of issues. But yeah, if you look through their resume, they haven't lost a whole lot in the UFC, at least recently, or in their recent fights. And against good guys, they've lost against. Like Edson Barbosa is the only guy that Dan Hooker's lost against since 2017, like mid 2017. I really like Dan Hooker. I think he's a better striker than Aloy Quinta.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Aloy Quinta drags Hooker into a bit of a dogfight, he could win this fight, especially if he mixes in some takedowns, if he gets on top, because he is good there. But I have a feeling that, you know, the energy of essentially the hometown crowd, you know, in his own region, the energy will be good for Hooker. Now, Aloy Quinta surprised me a lot.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, he surprised me a lot. I'm going to go with Dan Hooker. F it.
Yeah, I think Dan is a fair 1 or 4 to 7 favourite here.
Yeah.
If you like Al, 5 to 4, have at it. I don't think Al's going to be fazed by the crowd at all.
Yeah.
I mean, raging Al, he's just...
No. He's probably going to like it.
Yeah, I think he will like it. I think he'll revel in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of like Dan Hooker as well.
I like Dan Hooker too.
But it's going to be a good fight.
Left hook. The heavyweights, Tai Tuivasa against Sergey Spivak. For me, no disrespect to Spivak, but this looks like a tee-up for Tuivasa. And again, it's heavyweight. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
This seems like a tee-up, and I'd imagine the odds reflect that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I really like Tai Tuivasa just in general. I think he's really funny.
Seems like a cool guy.
And I think if he's a guy who went in a bit of a run, he's very marketable.
Yeah.
But yeah, the odds 1 to 4 on Tai Tuivasa and 5 to 2 on Spivak.
Yeah.
The 2-fight skid coming. It's a good fight to be fighting after a 2-fight skid, isn't it?
Yeah. Tapology, what you think? Where are they going? You know where they're going, but
Yeah.
what percentage?
90%.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
90%.
fucking
Do
yuppa.
you have that up there?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tuivasa all day. Heavyweight again. And Tuivasa, you know, he's had some bad losses at times. Yeah, he has 2 losses in his career. But
I mean, one of those losses was a hometown one,
Yeah.
and he was winning the fight, and then just got caught at trying to finish the fight. So
yeah, he's definitely not he doesn't fight the smartest game plans at times.
He's
But
a
I
brawler.
don't think that's going to matter here, because even Spivak against Walt Harris, he didn't look great, to be honest.
Tuivasa has that dog in him that he just wants to brawl.
Yeah. Next up, Luke Jamayu against Diego Lima. I'm going to go Jamayu here. He's looked okay in the UFC so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always worried about Diego Lima because, you know, he doesn't really keep his hands up. Not the best. I think his brow is a bit better. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jamayu in this one.
You can have some 11-8 on that, Rob.
Really?
Yeah, an underdog.
Wow.
And then Diego Lima 8-15. Quite
Holy
a big favourite.
shit.
Yeah.
I'm all over that.
Away you go.
Yeah. He's going to definitely lose.
Yeah.
And then, let's be honest, I don't want to lie to our audience. No idea for the next fight. And like, you know, usually put a lot of work into these card breakdowns and try to know who everybody is. But these ones...
Is this the one we looked at earlier?
Yeah, so it looks like this is on the main card. It seems, and maybe it was always on the main card because they're two essentially local boys, essentially. But Holly and
Raquel obviously fell off the card, so yeah, this looks like got bumped up.
To be honest,
one of the guys has a fight in the Contender Series.
Yeah.
The other guy hasn't fought in the UFC before, so
go for him then. But to be honest, like, I'm not gonna lie and say, oh yeah, I gotta go for this. Don't clue.
Could be a crack up. For all we know, it could be a crack up.
They look like two finishers.
Yeah,
could be a cracker.
but we don't know anything about them.
But I'm not gonna tell you who to pick on it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make a pick. So
yeah.
Prelims, anything there tickle your fancy, Sean?
Not much tickling my fancy.
No.
I mean, Megan Anderson's down, and again, she looks to be in
Megan Anderson tickling my fancy.
She's 2-9.
Yeah.
Pretty damn big favourite against Zara Fern dos Santos.
I'm not gonna lie. Throw some money on her just because Megan Anderson hasn't looked great in the UFC.
She's not reliable.
No, she's not reliable at all. Like, I think she'll win the fight, but, you know,
2-9 is very short considering her record.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm interested in Jake Matthews on the prelims because I think he's a fun fighter, but the fight itself, you know, I think it's another kind of local boy getting a handy elm matchup, to be honest. But yeah, prelims aren't great, but the main card's pretty good.
Banging.
The banging one, and the main event is amazing. So yeah, looking good. So let's go and move on to an interview with Will fucking, or the Tipperary Lion.
Nah, Will fucking Fleury.
Will fucking Fleury. He was just a background. Actually, I'll tell the background when Will's on,
Yeah.
just so we can say. But
Okay.
yeah, Will Fleury. So we're now joined by Will Fleury, who fought on Bellator last weekend. Unfortunately, it didn't go his way, but we're supposed to have Will on the last couple of weeks, and as you know, we didn't have a podcast, unfortunately, and we couldn't do it. But Will he said he'll come on and chat about the loss, which is very, very respectable, because a lot of fighters that we've had in the past who confirmed they'd come on, they didn't want to come on after a loss, but it's very respectable. So Will, it's been about a week since the fight. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I still feel like shit, to be honest. Look, like, I suppose you're in this to be one of the best, like, to be the best you can be. And I'm very disappointed with how that went, obviously. I can't talk to nobody's a fantastic fighter. I just feel like I gave an absolutely fucking shocking display of myself, and look, like, yeah, I'm gutted, basically.
Yeah. I know you didn't put too much on social media afterwards as well. Was that just because you didn't really want to talk about it, or what was the idea behind that?
No, not really. It's just like, sure, what are you going to say? Like, thanks everyone, I got my ass whooped. Like, you know, like, I fucking did a little post there to thank the fans, and, you know, I'm unbelievably grateful for the reception I got. And, like, I think that was a lot of what kept me going throughout some of the times I was badly rocked. Just having that crowd, and even at one stage, I was half out of most of the fight, to be honest, but like at one stage I stood up and I got that ole, ole, ole. And it is fucking incredible, like, and you do feel like, you know, fuck, I really want to give people something better than this to cheer on. And I sort of like, look, that, you know, that's even the reason I'm half doing this interview, like, because I just want to thank everybody who came out so much, and even the messages of support I've received since. You know, they, like, I feel unbelievably privileged to be Irish in situations like this, because I know if I was just fucking some random fighter from fucking Ukraine or wherever, you wouldn't get anything like this. You wouldn't get this level of support even in a loss. They're the best fans in the world, and yeah, like, can't thank everybody enough for the support, but I'll give you something better in future, I promise.
As great as it is to fight in Ireland, and I know you've been waiting a long time to do that, I know you've done it last time, but does it make it a little bit harder when stuff like this happens, that it's actually in Ireland and you kind of had all that support there?
No, like, you know, you embrace it. Like, you embrace that crowd and that energy, and at the end of the day, like, that drove me on. Like, it was a huge motivation in February. Like, I really used the crowd, and I performed better because of it. I don't think the lack of performance, or even, you know, how poorly the fight went for me, was anything to do with the crowd. I think I got caught badly hurt, you know, in the first round, and after that my reactions just weren't there, and, you know, my defense is over, and, like, you know, turns out blocking with your face isn't the best idea. Like, it was just, you know, I felt like I could mount very little offensively after that. And, you know, I'd actually need to watch the fight back because I haven't been able to see it yet. It's not up on the app. But yeah, it didn't, like, you know, it didn't feel like I was in it at all. People are saying, like, oh, it was a back and forth fight. I don't fucking remember me having too many great moments, to be honest. It was more, you know, I felt like I was getting fucking battered for 15 minutes, and that's never ever happened to me before, in sparring or in anything. So it was a bizarre feeling, and, like, it's something I really want to rectify, and it's something I know I fucking can rectify at the end of the day. Like, fuck, I'm alive and I'm healthy. It's just, yeah, like, fucking, it's, you know, it's hard to see the positive in it.
What's kind of your feeling now? Are you kind of sort of fucking itching to get back in there again, or do you kind of want to take a couple of weeks off and rest?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're unbelievably eager just to get rid of that taste in your mouth and to come back and put it all right as soon as possible. But ultimately, like, I've fractured a bone in my cheek there, and I've torn something on my pec just off his armbar attempt in the first round. So it'll be a few weeks before I can train again. That's probably a good, like, you know, look, I'm not an idiot. Like, I recognize health-wise that's probably a good thing. You know, I probably don't need to be getting any more shots to the head given the way the fight went anytime soon anyway. But yeah, I'm unbelievably eager to get back in there. Like, and you know, like, I know that I can do so much better than that. So it's more just, I would love to have that opportunity to show that I can do so much better than that as soon as possible. I know it's going to be a while though, and that's going to be one of the hardest things. It's going to be waiting on the sidelines for a couple of months while you get yourself back together, and, you know, while, like, there's not going to be a fight card where they're, you know, when they put me on it for a while, obviously. So I'll just wait my time, and I'll be fucking ready when that time comes.
Yeah, I know a lot of fighters talk about how it's kind of a blur in the fights, and you kind of have to go back and watch it. And I know you said you haven't got a chance to go back and watch it, but one thing was that you had a very good first round up until when he dropped you. Your game plan seemed to be going as I guess was laid out. But how did that change the fight? Did that change the fight completely in terms of how your game plan continued throughout?
Yeah, well, like, look, honestly, after that initial getting dropped, I don't really remember a whole lot. And that's rare, you know. And, like, I know there are guys out there who go, like, oh geez, like, it's all a blur to me. Normally it's not. No, even the time I got knocked out in Rome, I could remember perfectly what happened before, and I could remember perfectly what happened right afterwards. I had like a 10-second gap. For this one, no, my memory of the next 2.5 rounds or 2 and a bit rounds or whatever is very hazy. It kind of feels like I was in a bit of a nightmare. And even, like, I remember at times in the second round I was like, he's going to throw that right hand again. You know he's going to throw that right hand again. And then even in the back of my mind I was like, yeah, but you're not going to be able to react to it in time. And then it'd be like bang, and you're like getting another. It felt like you're in a bad dream where you can't stop what's happening, or your body's not responding to your brain or something. It was kind of surreal and a bit odd. Like, and I wasn't fully, you know, there basically. But at the same time, all the way throughout that fight, and it's weird, I just believed I was going to win, even while I was getting absolutely battered.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm going to come back from this. I'm going to get my chance. I'm going to take this chance when I get it. Like, I just believed I was so much fitter than them and so much fucking more robust an athlete. Like, but look, ultimately, the third round was probably the time I got my chance to do that. I didn't get to put it on him enough. So, and like that's the one thing I'm really truly fucking kind of pissed off with myself about. Obviously, like, defense to the overhand is just, something I really fucking obviously need to work on. But I'm just pissed off that I was still in that fight in the third round, and I probably could have gone a little bit like in that third round if I'd really tried to set the pace. But I obviously just didn't have that belief in my body to be able to execute what I was trying to do with my mind. Like,
once the loss comes, how do you deal with that? Like, especially when you can't really go to the gym and fix the problems that you feel like you had. How do you actually deal with it mentally? What do you do to kind of recover in that way?
I suppose break down what's happened as best you can and break down why it happened. So like I don't want to bury my head in the sand and go like, oh, I know I'm a good fighter. I'll come back and beat everyone after this. At the end of the day, I got this shit kicked out of me by a 19-year-old. Like, and like, it was the one punch again and again and again. That doesn't mean there's other things there's not other things I need to fix. But I definitely need to fix my defense for that punch, because it was the same punch as it was in Rome. It was the same overhand, very similar style where he kind of skipped in and threw it every time. And I need to get better at recognizing when that's about to happen, obviously, and I need to formulate some sort of a defense to it, and an effective defense to it, because it's not like it's something I haven't looked at and gone like, oh yeah, you're a tall guy, people are going to throw big overhands at you. But my reactions, especially, like, look, you can say, well, he took one. Like, after the first one, my reactions were shocking. But again, it should be ingrained into you. Yeah. That's something that you're able to get away from, even when you're in fucking instinct mode. Because, like, I fought most of that fight just out of instinct. Like, I wasn't really able to consciously adapt to what was going on too much, obviously. But clearly my instincts for dealing with that shot are not good, like.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed, and you kind of said it there as well, that you felt like you were still in the fight, you still could win it. And it seemed like when you were fighting your instincts was to go forward, be aggressive, still try to land shots. And obviously, in hindsight, it's 2020, but do you feel like if you were maybe not quite as dazed and you could have been a little bit more defensive and recover, you probably would have been able to put on a better performance later in the fight, but you were kind of fighting on instincts and you were, being kind of who you are, being really, really aggressive?
Yeah. Again, like, I need to watch it, but
yeah,
clearly what I was doing wasn't working. Like, clearly, and that's one thing I'm normally very good at, is analyzing what's happening while it's happening and adjusting to it. Like, I've never had my ass whooped like that before, not as comprehensively as that in any given, like, even against the highest level fighters and the toughest spars. I do damn well generally, and it's easy to say that when it's fucking not in public, but yeah, that, like, it's just, yeah, like, I just really would like the opportunity to get back in and show what I can do. It's a lot better than that.
You have some time off, but like, do you have any timeline in mind of when potentially you could be, getting back in the cage?
Yeah, it's possibly next February, the next Dublin card.
Nice.
Seems like the most likely thing right now. Like, dreamland scenario, the facial fracture isn't as bad as it seems, and the pec tear heals up quite quickly. Maybe a fight before the end of the year. Looks pretty unlikely right now, but that I'd love to. That'd be great. But if not, it looks like February in Dublin is the most likely option. Like.
And how do you, like, obviously you want to get in there, you want to kind of fix the wrongs that went down, but how do you kind of look at it as in, maybe, I should take a little bit more time off? How do you kind of balance that of, I want to get in there and fix this, but also maybe I should take some time off and recover and, take that time?
Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm 30 years old and I want to get kind of my career to where I want it to be relatively quickly. I feel like I was doing a damn good job of building it until last Friday evening. So, yeah, like, I want to maintain my brain, obviously, as well, but I'm pretty cognitively aware here today, sitting here. And I recognize the fact that I do need a bit of a break from trauma, maybe, but I wouldn't like that break to be too long. 2 months seems like a long time to me right now, and that takes us to what? the start of December.
Yeah.
So if I could get a 2-month break, that'd be great, and then fight sometime in December. I'd love that, but it's looking like it's going to be more right now.
And is Ireland would that be the ideal place to do it, or?
I don't mind, man. Look,
Yeah.
I'll go anywhere. I'll fight anywhere. Obviously, like, I loved fighting in the Tree Arena both times I've done it. They were drastically different nights and drastically different fights, but both times I got like such a rush off the feeling of walking out and that crowd hitting me, and it was incredible. Like, and I would love to do that as many times as I can in my life. I've no thing of like, oh, I got my ass whooped in front of an Irish crowd, I don't want to fight in front of an Irish crowd again. Man, I'd fucking love to and put on a much, much better performance than that. So, yeah, like, if it's in Dublin, brilliant. If it's not, or if it has to come, or if it comes before that, great as well. But
yeah, I can back that up. We were at the card in February. We spoke about it with you after. You got one of the best receptions on the night, and we spoke about it after. And we're not just saying that because you're here.
Yeah, it was
even again on Friday night, I was there, and you again got one of the best receptions in the whole card. So I can back that up. Like, very well supported.
Yeah, like, it's pretty overwhelming when you're the guy there getting that reception. It's, it does blow you away. It's not just like, talk.
Yeah,
I could feel that in my heart. Like, I feel that, and I want to give something better back. I really do, and I will. This is the thing. I'm like, this is a fucking sad day, obviously, but this isn't a fucking sad story. I'm not gonna let this be a sad story. Like, I will come back from this, and I will fucking put on much, much better performances than that, and I will fucking get to the top of this division. It's more just, obviously, there are a few adjustments need to be made, but fucking, I'm so determined to do a lot better than that. Like,
and listen, like, from like our perspective watching as well, and again, not just because you're on, I think like what you showed in that fight, the heart and being able to stay in there after getting dropped a few times, it's like that is something that not every fighter has. Like, just some people just don't have it. Like, I don't think a lot of people in the world, not just fighters, have that to stay in there. That, that a lot of people would kind of quit in that situation and say, maybe it's not my night. But coming forward, keeping it going, I think you did show that you're definitely will persevere that as well.
Yeah, like, I kind of cringe when people, fucking try and console you by saying, you showed you were so tough and you showed you so much heart. At the end of the day, like, tough fighters are rarely the best fighters. Like, the hardy fighters aren't the ones who rely on their skill set. They're the ones who rely on fucking taking damage. And, that's not the type of fighter I want to be at the end of the day. But, yeah, look, if anyone ever fucking doubted that I really want this and that I'm willing to put myself on the line for it, I think Friday evening showed, like, no, I fucking do want it. I am willing to put myself out there for this. And, like, I suppose that's the funny thing, one slight positive of this is, like, I really, really obviously didn't expect to get my ass whooped like that. But even while that was happening, I was like, I am going to fucking get you all of the time. There was no reason to believe that. I did feel that in my heart. I was like, I'm going to fucking change this. Yeah. This is going to turn around. I'm going to get my chance. And even like, there was a slight period of like, I don't even like, I'd need to see it again.
Yeah.
But there was a small period in the second round there where I really felt like you're going to get your window, because I think he dropped me again. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he dropped me again in the second, and we were pinned up against the cage and he was landing some good shots. And he was like, it's over, man. Give up, give up.
Was he talking to you in the cage?
Yeah. We were talking a little bit to each other back and forth. And like, he told me to give up a few times. And I was like, go fuck yourself every time. But like, at that point, when he was like, just when I was pinned to the cage and he was saying it, I was like, he's fucking tired. That's why he's saying, like, there's no reason you'd fucking ask somebody to give up.
Yeah.
Other than being fucking tired. Like, it's not like you have any actual sympathy at that point in time. You're going to kick the fuck out of anyone as best you can. So that gave me a little bit of heart, to be honest. And yeah, look, it was more just the fact that I didn't turn it around. It was the really disappointing thing. But I take a little bit of solace in the fact that I genuinely did feel like I could all throughout the fight. There was no point where I was like, oh, you've lost this has gone past you. But I didn't turn it around ultimately.
Yeah. Well, we're sure you'll be back, and we're looking forward to the next fight. And you've kind of said it already, and you've kind of addressed it. But like for the fans that did go, and like as Sean said, you had huge support there. And you've addressed it already. But is there anything you'd like to say to those fans who showed up? And
look, I'm fucking gutted, but I honestly feel unbelievably privileged to have gotten to walk out and get that reception, and I can't thank everyone enough for that, and for even throughout the fight, the ole when I got back up and all that, like it's incredible. It does something to your soul, and I want to give you so much more than that, and I will give you so much more than that, and like it won't be long before I'm back in there whooping ass. Trust me, this isn't gonna fucking define me or be the end of me at all. This is gonna be the start of fucking something beautiful. So if you fucking saw that fight and you're thinking, oh, Will Fleury's a bag of shit, he's not gonna come back, fuck you, watch what happens. And if you saw it and you think like, oh well, fuck it, this lad, like I want to see what he does with the rest of his career, yeah, keep watching, it's gonna be good. Like,
sweet, can't wait to watch him.
Look, for everyone, and I've received so many like really fucking nice heartfelt messages over the last few days of people trying to encourage me to fucking keep it going and do like whatever. And look, I was never ever gonna quit, like no matter what, don't worry. But it's great to get fucking messages like that, and like I can't thank everyone enough for the level of support, and even like the amount of people I don't know who've messaged me and just said really, really nice things. And yeah, it's Irish people are great, man.
Yeah, great bunch of lads.
Deadly.
They are, and it's at times like this you really appreciate that, and you really feel it, like, and I can't fucking thank everyone enough for that.
That's great, and can't wait for him, and can't wait to see you back in there. Hopefully it's late this year or early next year, and we'll get you back
Hopefully
on.
December, yeah.
Always welcome on the show anytime.
It has to be February. Fuck it, great.
Sweet. Cheers, Will.
Look, biggest thing, I'm healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like overall, I know I have a fractured cheek and whatever, but like,
that'll heal.
In the grand scheme of things, it's all small.
Yeah.
Brain is good. My overall health is good.
Sweet.
Could be a hell of a lot worse than this.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Well, cheers, Will. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for like last 2 weeks. Obviously, you couldn't do it, but cheers for having us on now.
Thank you, Will.
Cheers.
Really appreciate it.
All the best, man.
Sorry, it has to be such a fucking sad buzz and sad conversation.
No, honestly, that was really interesting.
Yeah. No, it's always cool to talk with somebody who is willing to talk after a loss, because it's not the easiest thing to do, obviously. So
I think look, there's different ways to lose as well, but I think it's pretty fucking tough after you've been comprehensively whooped by a fucking 19-year-old. that is the biggest thing to me anyway. That's the one, like, look, this is competition, and this is the nature of competition. At the end of the day, you're gonna have to be very like wrapped up in yourself and deluded to think this isn't somewhat possible throughout any like stage of your career. But it's just very fucking tough when it's a guy who, like, I train with Norbert. I know how talented he is. He's an incredible fighter, even when he was 15. Like, that kid choked me out when he was 15. Wow. And like, I knew coming into this, like, this is going to be fucking probably the toughest fight you could get. But at the same time, I really did think I was going to win it. And even before, look, like, whatever. Didn't win, basically. But, like, I'm relishing the next opportunity. And I don't want to fucking go back and fight somebody who I know I can beat.
Yeah.
Give me another challenge. Give me somebody else who you think, like, oh, that guy's not, like, Will Fleury is not on that guy's level. And let me fucking show you differently. I
think that's the best attitude to have, to be honest. And it's, it's awesome.
That's class. Thank you very much, Will.
Cheers, lads. Thanks for
Cheers, man. All the best.
Cheers.
Talk soon. So, Sean, a couple of weeks ago, we've had a few weeks off.
Yeah.
I gave you a fight to watch. So hopefully it's still fresh in your mind, but we're going to chat about it. And if you haven't watched the show before or listened to the show, this is the part of the show where I give Sean a fight. He reviews it, comes back, tells us how he felt. I give him another one, and we go around. It's like a circle. So I gave you Matt Brown versus Eric Silva. That's Eric with a K. Yeah. And this happened in 2014, May 10th. They headlined a fight night event. What's your thoughts? Lots
of thoughts. Firstly, Eric Silva spelled his name wrong. He That's it wrong. It took me ages to find it on Fight Pass because for some reason it wasn't in Matt Brown's section on Fight Pass. Yeah, or either I was just blind, so I was trying to.
You
find
might have been in Mike Brown's section.
So I was trying to find Eric Silva, and I was like, Eric is spelling his name wrong. But got there in the end, and
I love that's your major takeaway from the fight.
Thankfully, I did get there because oh my god, what a fight! This was the sport at its purest. One of those fights where you throw out all the analytical stuff, all the breakdowns, all the technical shit, and you get two dogs thrown down. It was brilliant. Loved it.
Absolute dogs. And as far as I remember, at this time, so Eric Silva, he kind of came in and he was looking like a bit of a phenom. He lost some fights along the way, but when he did win, he looked phenomenal. So that was a big win for Matt Brown at the time. And also, if you go back and you look at Matt Brown, this is like, actually, you could write a fucking book about Matt Brown because his story is insane. If you go back and look at the run that he went on in the UFC before basically recovering, it was crazy. He was on a 3 fight, so he was like 4-1 in 5 fights, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna be gone." Makes a comeback, looks great. But yeah, that was a phenomenal fight.
The heart he showed in that fight as well. Yeah, it was insane. To come back from the shots he took, and he was almost out. I mean, the ref arguably could have stopped it earlier.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd have argued if the ref had stopped it. So to come back and win, it was in his hometown, am I right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
The atmosphere seemed insane.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
It was one of those where everyone was on the feet just shouting and screaming. It was a dogfight. It was brilliant.
It was worthy of its main event title. So for next week, we're going to give you a pretty historical fight, one that didn't fly under the radar like that, one that people remember very clearly. It's Anderson Silva's first title challenge against Rich Franklin. Rich was the king at the time. Anderson was coming in, and phenomenal fight. I think we gave you Anderson versus Lieben.
Yes.
So you've seen that. So you've seen his basically his number 1 contender fight. Now you get to see his title fight.
Sweet.
Should be fun. So that was Educating Young Sean. And Sean, that's it. That's the end of the show. We got there.
Damn.
Yeah, it's been some time, but did you enjoy it? Enjoyed the return?
Yeah, it was good to be back, man.
It was good to be back. Thanks to Will Fleury. Whew, I'm still emotional after that. That was a deep interview. It really was.
Yeah, I love speaking to Will because he's always so honest and so raw. The raw bastard. But yeah, we always appreciate his time. Didn't have to come on today. A lot of fighters wouldn't and haven't. So yeah, fair play to him coming on and speaking so honestly. Yeah, I really interesting, to be honest. Yeah,
I really appreciate the time. That was fun, and also it was an emotional one. But the card this weekend, it was fun to talk about that. It's a good card, and also Educating Young Sean. You have a good fight for next week.
Yeah, I'm learning, baby.
Yeah, we're learning. So that's it. Check us out next